Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Josh Culbreth.
Welcome back to News Watch 12 midday. Right now you're taking a live look at Wairika. This view coming courtesy of the Rain Rock Casino. Just seeing some pretty light haze there this midday, although the air quality is technically unhealthy for sensitive groups. So if you're in one of those sensitive groups, you got to sport the N95 mask as you're headed out the door this midday. But other than that, it's shaping up to be a pretty nice day. 68 degrees, so room temperature, lots of sunshine. Not only down in Siskiyou County, but across much of the News Watch 12 viewing area. So 60s and 60s and 70s for inland spots, and then mid 60s along the coast in Curry County. Although a little bit later today, we will be in the 80s. So just jumping the gun a little bit there. We'll get to that in a second. On to the smoke forecast now. And again, a lot of that thick smoke continues to be in western Siskiyou County, immediately downwind of some of the fires, especially some of the more active fires being the western half of the Happy Camp complex in western Siskiyou County. Now, a bit later today, as we put this into motion, we'll have winds gusting out of the west between 20 to 25 miles per hour, and that'll put a lot of the haze into Klamath County, Lake County, and central and eastern Siskiyou County. But that would just be some pretty light haze. Some of the thicker smoke is going to continue to be in western Siskiyou County. And then the cycle into tomorrow isn't looking nearly as smoky because we'll have winds more so coming out of the north, maybe even a bit of an easterly component to that as well. But that means that a lot of the haze is just going to stay down into Siskiyou County, maybe a little bit of it getting into portions of the Great Basin. But I think you can tell that in comparison to today, tomorrow is looking a lot less smoky. Speaking of today, here's your hiking planner in the Rogue Valley, and by the time we get to the late afternoon to early evening, that's when we'll have the best air quality within the Rogue Valley. So even though it will be a little bit hotter, I think the late afternoon to early evening is probably going to be the best time frame to go on a hike. So just be sure that you are packing the sunscreen, because you'll need it, and the water, as it still will be toasty out there, although high temperatures are going to be just about on par for this time of the year. We'll be near 80 to the east of the Cascades, low to mid 80s for west side valleys, and near 70 along the coast in Curry County. And then for tonight, skies will turn completely clear for inland spots, although we still will have to deal with some smoke and haze down into Siskiyou County. Overnight lows will feel like what we had for this morning, being near 40 to the east of the Cascades, low to mid 50s for west side valleys, and then middle 50s along the coast in Curry County, where we could have some partly cloudy skies due to some marine layer impacts, but we're not expecting any widespread coastal fog. Will be a little bit warmer into Wednesday, but then the heat wave will really start to settle in for Thursday and Friday, as we could be upwards of 100 degrees, especially for Friday in the Rogue Valley. We'll continue to keep things above average into the beginning of next week. So warming things up, continuing to keep things pretty dry, which means that fire weather impacts will at the very least stay elevated, but I wouldn't be too shocked if we saw some of these days get upgraded to critical, just given how dry the fuels are actually about to get. Here's a 7-day forecast for the coast. We'll see some warmer weather for Wednesday and Thursday, but then the marine layer starting to become a little bit more impactful on Friday. So that means we'll get cooler and we'll see more in the way of marine layer clouds. For Siskiyou County, we'll just have some light haze for central and eastern Siskiyou County, but again, we'll have some much thicker smoke in western Siskiyou County, just given the proximity to some of the fires. Then for the Klamath Basin, pretty light haze over the next couple of days, a more incremental warm-up as opposed to what we'll have for the mountains, where we could get into the mid 80s by Friday and Saturday, but we're talking about mid to upper 90s, maybe even some triple digits within that time frame for the Rogue Valley.
All right, thank you, Josh. I mean, do you think this is going to be like the last little heat wave before we start hitting the colder temps?
You would think so. You would think so, right? Now, nothing's for sure. You know, the atmosphere is very chaotic and dynamic. There's a lot of stuff we don't understand about it. But what I do understand is that we are due for some cooler weather. So I'm not saying yes, but I'm saying you would think.
You would think.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds promising.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
Of course.